So now go ahead and switch back to that script if you want. And let me give you also, well, actually, I don't know if those are saved. Let me pull up the last newsletter to show you how it works.
Okay, so let me stop sharing here.
No, 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 no. You're gonna. I was gonna give you the path to the
Oh,
thing
okay,
after you
so
do. But let me. Let's see. Oh, actually, I'll give you the path to the HTML file. That'll be better.
okay,
Which I'll have to obfuscate it later. Actually, just it's fine. Go to the HTML6 and if you can, don't use my link.
okay, sure. What is this? Yeah, the thing is that this is V1. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the point.
yeah, that's the situation. The thing is that I have to enable the V1 for this folder, I think. Let me see. AutoHotkey. Yeah, this one I have to enable it for this workspace. Right, there we go. Oh, we were using the copy data handler here. Oh, wow. Okay. Now, and you are including something here. That's tricky. Let's see what we have here. I don't know. So they're very simple
Yeah, oh yeah.
clipboard. So they're very simple clipboard scripts. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I don't
now
think it should be too hard to convert to V2. But first off, let's
what
show
is message?
open the Word doc that I sent you, please.
Okay. And I could open it in HTML6, you said, right?
No, you open it in Word.
Okay.
You're gonna be going to HTML6, but
Okay.
so I draft the newsletter, and this is why it's really important. Is you'll see in here, scroll down a little. So see these kind of HTML looking parts
Yep.
in placeholders and the asterisks with things. So the asterisks with words in between, those are my needles that I have things look for, and when it finds it, it replaces it with HTML.
Okay.
The things that start with the bracket and the that are actually comments in HTML, those just stay. So after everything gets replaced, it's still easier for me to find things because you'll see how hard it is kind of to read to see where you are. And
Yep.
then the rest of it is just plain a Word doc with hyperlinks and stuff. So I'm
Right.
writing in a very easy to use tool. But so copy all of this
Mm-hmm.
and go to the HTML6 and just start the editor. I can do that way too. It's fine. And then paste it there in the left.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
of course.
Yep.
Let me just
Yeah. Just get
remove
well.
remove a little bit of it, I guess. Oh, come on. Oh, 700. Okay. I need just a little bit less. Still 500. Let's try this.
Limited to 300 words. That's not many words.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So on the left, we do have the normal text, like as it would look like in um Word, right? But basically, this is your preview of how the email actually is going to look like. On the right side, we have the HTML as is. When we do the replacement, we're going to put some HTML there that I
Well,
could put on this side then.
no, that's where it happens. Yeah,
Oh, that's
the replace is done on the right because if
okay.
you go look at the search and replace script,
Hmm.
it's looking for what that resolves to
Okay.
because I
All
want to
right.
put in HTML, right? So if you go back to the
Right.
script and look, or just run it, and unfortunately, I think the hotkey is probably my browser back, so you might want to change that.
Okay. Let me have something else. Browser back. F1. I could run this. Nope. Where are my bars? What the hell?
So the interesting, I think, some of you guys might, obviously you're not, I'm guessing you're not writing a newsletter, right? But you might have things that you do frequently, and then you have pieces of it that you are in your thing that are very common, right? So
Right.
I built a template in Word that allows me to come into here, and then you select on the right and just hit your hotkey.
When you say select, so I have to
You don't have
select
to
this
select.
section.
Nope, nope. Just click
Okay.
in there. You just got to make sure you're in the field. Yeah, it'll
Okay.
do a
Now
select
I'm in
all.
the field.
Yeah,
Sorry. So
it'll
I
do
would say,
it'll do a select all when you hit the hotkey. So it
okay, I'm gonna
selects
press
all as
F1.
replacement.
Yep, there it is. And now notice how the course banner now became something else.
But it should have done a lot. Well,
Well,
yeah,
I
the
have part
banner.
of the text, right?
Yeah, but the banner should have. Well, that depending on what you replaced, the banner should.
Okay.
I mean, it works great for me. So something
Right.
happens with the transition.
Yeah, very likely. There are some things that are either that I don't have access to, or maybe I'm not logged in, or many other
It shouldn't
reasons why.
matter. I mean, it's
Okay.
literally, but yeah, because that's yeah, it didn't work.
Maybe you can try it on your end. Maybe it's a little bit
Yeah,
better
yeah.
to,
Well,
to well, okay, yeah.
um, yeah, I'll share in a second here. Just give me a second.
In the meantime, I can take a look at the code and kind of like talk about what it's doing. So we do have two parts here. But this is different. This is just listening for certain messages. I'm not sure what that is for. I don't know if we even use that, but when we press the hotkey, some sort of template gets created here, which is the full contents of what the course banner is, which is what we were referring to. And again, Joe, you're right. Like this whole thing should have been just placed in that spot.
And
Right?
I'm ready to show. So let me.
All right, go ahead and show.
Share. So I'm going to be in here, and I hit my hotkey, and now we see both the bottom banner, the top banner, right? Even this got put in. This is here. And over here also, because this tool, unfortunately, it removes all blank lines. So that's also why I wrote this in a way, because what's really cool is once I see how it just resolved and now everything's smushed together, that's what these sections really help me, like, oh, here's where I am. But what's cool is I can just hit the hotkey again and it reinserts the blank lines so I can see. But yeah, sometimes you have things you're going to look for that you're going to replace, right? And so
Yeah.
that's basically what I'm doing. In a easy to use, is it perfect? No, but it makes it very easy to use. But this is all a V1 script. So anyway, that's what the script does. But I thought it'd be good to walk through the conversion.
Sure. So we can see how we can convert this from V1 to V2 and see if there are any, difficult spots or stuff like that. All right. So I really doubt it. Most of the script seems like mostly
Oh, it's simple. No.
Find and replace kind of thing. When that happens, I don't think it's going to be a lot of changes to it. So I'm going to first create a copy of the script. All right. So we are here, and I'm just gonna, what is that on the right? Oh, this is the backup. Okay, so let me just create a copy. This one, I'm just gonna name it V2. All right. And that's the one that I'm gonna be working on. First of all, we're gonna get rid of this part here, V2.0, right? Second of all, then we have to work with this library. So, and I don't know what the message is. Do I have anything? Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, that's just two variables here. That was just an example. I don't know.
This we added so it'll kill it later.
But I had one of them. That's the termination message. But that was an example. That was not supposed to be included there. But yeah, who cares? It doesn't make anything. It doesn't do anything. So, quick thing, as soon as I start, one of the things that you have to be careful about is these sort of commands that change a lot of settings of your script, like detect hidden windows, force, what is it, send mode, and those kind of things. Usually you just set detect hidden windows on and off. That was it. But now remember that everything is an expression. That would be taken as a variable if you are using V2. So that's the part that we will take a look at. I just made sure now to switch to AutoHotkey V2 language. That has the benefit of just giving me a list of problems that I can just go ahead and fix one by one, right? So there's a few. It says 656, but as soon as you fix a few of them, many of them just go away by themselves. So let's start with this one. This with the directives and commands having a comma right next to them. That's a problem. Let's remove the commas. That's it. As I was saying, if you're using the detect hidden windows and other sort of type of commands, now it is either true or false, which makes more sense. Or in some cases, the mode could be a text, but you would have to put the quotation marks around it. In this case, as I hover over this, it tells me that it's either 1 or 0. So I would say true here. And because it makes a little bit more lexical sense to say it is true that I want to detect the hidden windows. That's one. Then we go ahead and look at our messages here. The onMessage now receives the actual name of the function and not a string. So I don't need that in there. I just need the name of the function, which is better. We don't have to have strings in there when there could be functions. And the cool thing about them is that now I can just hit F12 and I can just jump to where that function is located at. So great.
And just to remind people, that is written because in the newsletter, I use 3 or 4 different scripts. I start with this one. This is the first one because I'm converting it. Then I do 3 or 4 more things. And then I open a tool called Message Master for deploying. When I close Message Master, it goes and closes all these other scripts for me because I don't want to have to go remember to go close them. Right. So that's what this message here does. So we can receive a message from any program, by the way. And if any program sends us this specific message, it just exits the application. So one of the things that happened in V2 is this part right here. It was very like if you wanted to change the tray icon, you had to go through the menu command, which makes no sense because the tray icon and the tray menu have nothing to do with each other. So now in AutoHotkey V2, you can just use tray set icon is the name of the function. Everything else works almost the same, but now you don't have to mention some sort of random menu that has nothing to do with what you're doing. That's it. Beforehand, we had to set the title match mode to 2, which is basically to the title must contain the specified text. So it usually in V1, it was defaulting to that the title must match exactly, right? I think it was that, or that it had to start with what you were looking for. In this case, number 2 is just the title should be contained anywhere in the title. So whatever you're searching for must be contained. This is the default in V2, so we don't need that line anymore. Now we have our hotkeys. One-liners, they don't change, all right? So they're the same in our AutoHotkey V1 and V2. But when you have multiple lines, then this is where it changes. Now you need brackets like this, and your hotkey code goes inside the brackets. So let's grab everything up to the return right here, and let's just move it up until I see the bracket here, and that will give me the code, the F1 code inside my brackets, and browser back and F1, they're both going to run the same thing, right? So let's go ahead and work on this part. Mostly what is happening here is that those variables are defined incorrectly. All of them, I need the colon equals is what's happening.
or and sorry, that's the only way that you can define now. But your text here now must be quoted either outside of the how do you call this, the
Continuation section.
continuation section, yes, or inside. And the way how it works, like from the outside and doing that, I don't like how it works. It is more predictable for me to just select the text, put it around it. So you see, it's very predictable for me. That's why I don't use the other way. I don't know how that works.
Can you do me a favor and double check that I don't have any single? I guess you'd see it change, right? If there were.
Yes, it would be some sort of color in here. But to your point, I could just select the code here and find in the selected text if there's any quotes. And there are two, and are the ones that I just put there. I don't see any others. So that's good. So that is correct. So I have my variable here. Now, remember, AutoHotkey V2 and actually V1 was the same. It's just that the syntax didn't show that. We are inside a function right now. So as we are inside a function, let's make these guys static. I don't have to be defining those over and over again. They're just like that. So we could just static here. At this point, I will have my quote, and then I need my empty text in here. And that's it. Basically, you just go through the code here, just adding the quotation, the colon there, and adding the single quotes, and of course verifying that the single quotes do not break anything. So static here. And again, what I could do, which is what I would do, is just click on one of the variables and alt click the others that I'm going to do the same thing on, like this. And now I just do it once. So I just go to the home and select the colon there, and that's done for all of those variables. Then for this one, I cannot do that, but I could just select the thing, put the quotations around it. And you see the number of problems kind of like going down here really quickly, because a lot of them, they're just kind of like repeated errors right there. Okay, so there we go. Now, here's where part of the code comes in. So we have the win_get_active_title. This is a function. So let's just call it as a function. Now, this function is that. Okay, that's interesting. Win_get_active_title. Is that not a thing anymore in Vue2? I've never. So let me look at that real quick. Oh, what happened there?
We lost your screen.
Am I sharing? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, win_get_title. That's how it goes. So win_get_title.
So,
I don't know what the other one is. Is it
so
like
hold on, Isaias. What's funny is, so is it actually an error and it's not even using it?
Yes, it looks like it is an error. Let's check on that. Let's go ahead and look at the V1 documentation and see if there's any function called win_get_active_title. All right. So we could just go to the documentation, switch to V1. If Cloudflare decides that I'm human. So if I look for win_get_active_title, no, that's not an error. So there is a function in V1 called like that, but in V2 that does not exist anymore. Win_get. So we do have win_get_title, but we don't have win_get_active_title. Because by default, we can just put an A in there. So I would do this. I would say, where are we? win_get_title, right? That's what we want. And this was the variable that was going to receive that. And then here I would just say, hey, the active window. That's the way of doing it in V2. So there was a very specific function for that, but why have two functions when you can have one? So the same thing. We just get the Windows, the active title right now. Most of the commands, if you see text in blue and followed by a comma, that's an instant error. So let's just do this. Let me just remove the word wrap. So I can just alt click on them. I will just alt click on them, go to the beginning, do control to the right to jump to the end, and then remove that comma. And I'm going to put a space just to make it sure that it's like that. That's it. I just fixed all those commands. It's just removing that comma. And now just making sure that I have quotation marks where I need them. The send command basically needs the quotation marks for the text. Sleep command is okay. Now we do have a function here, a function call that we have how do I call that? Defined on the clipboard thing here. So we have to define those later, but let's go ahead and ignore those for now. Everything else, I do want to copy the current clipboard, a clipboard. So if you use the word clipboard by itself, it is going to be deprecated soon. So don't do that. So at this point, just default to a clipboard. And everything else should be exactly the same, I think, because string replace is good. New clipboard, we have it here. This is what I'm searching for. This is what I'm going to replace it with. And that should be the variable that I already defined up there. So I don't have to touch none of that, I guess. We will see in a second. Now, down here, I do see some problems. I see the squiggly lines here. That is because we are duplicating the quotation marks. And instead of that, we could just escape them with the backtick. That should fix that issue. And I see everything else is good.
Alternatively, I'm just trying, could you have used the single quotes on the outside and just
yes. Yeah, 100%. Like, for example, here that you have this character 34, that's a quotation mark. Yep. But we were doing that just to make sure that we were having a quotation mark there. But we don't have to. We could just put the single quotes and a quotation mark there. The only thing is I'm kind of confused because this puts the quotation mark at the end of this string, right?
All I know is it works.
Right. So let me see what is happening here.
So just FYI, sorry, okay. Let me explain real quickly what that line in particular does. Again, I'm going to guess most of you don't have a YouTube channel, but in YouTube, you can go and copy a link. And if you're in Studio, if you're in the, like, what would you call it? I guess.
Yeah, the studio.youtube. That's right.
You like the studio link, not the shareable link. And it's it's a little way too easy to actually copy that one and put it somewhere where no one else has access to it. Right?
Yes.
So a few times years ago, people were like, hey, I can't access this link. And I'm like, oh. And so I finally realized, let me just check every thing that says studio YouTube and
now this is interesting. So you have a group here, right? This is a group that has the first part that is just the URL from YouTube. And then you have a second group with what it appears to be a hard-coded ID there. Is that what it is?
I have no idea what that is, honestly.
Yeah, that's a very weird thing. And then from there, you grab that second one in a capture group, and that's what you put right here, which makes absolutely no sense to me. So, but I will take a look at that later.
Yeah.
But I would assume it is just because the clipboard itself has something that matches something. In there, I don't know what that is. I don't think this line is doing anything. Because if the link, because if the link that you have doesn't have that, it's not gonna actually do anything. But we will see.
Yeah.
Right. So in any case, everything else, like I don't have to touch none of that. I just have now quite a less problems. Many of them are just, again, things like this. This win activate now. I don't need the % signs around this. So, and I'm just looking at the clipboard right there and I'm like, yeah, hold on. I have to do the A clipboard right here. So we do, and this is, again, we have been saying this for a long time, but this is kind of like real life example. Don't work directly on the clipboard. Copy it, do whatever you want to do with it, and then copy it back. Because throughout this process, somebody else, another program might change your clipboard, and then you're working with invalid data, right? So this is good. Now we have the clipboard, we activate the window, we paste, we wait a little bit, which again, I think we could do 500 here. We talked about that, right? And now we just grab the original clipboard and put it on the clipboard. So this is our replaced version of it. And then at the end, we have our original clipboard. So we're almost done here. Let's take a look at this guy. This has to do with how numget works. So very interesting. We can do the numget. We need to say what the source location is, any offsets to that, and then the data type, I guess. So why is this not working as intended? Oh, because I'm missing the second part. So that would be the L param is our source, and this is my offset, plus whatever. So in V1, you had to put the original location that you just got, and if you needed to move to get the value that you wanted, you had to do plus, and then put whatever it is. Now in V2, those two things are separate from one another. You tell me what the origin is, that's where we are, and then you tell me how much I have to move to the right. In this case, we're moving 2 times the pointer size, so we're getting a variable that is 2 spots later, and that variable we're assuming that is the string address. That's where the location of some text is located. That's what I'm going to say. Hey, string get whatever is in that spot, and I'm going to get that. And now we don't need this forcing of a thing here. There we go. And if the data contains the word kill script, then we exit. This was kind of like probably a different attempt of the termination message here. So basically what we were saying is we could send the WM copy data handler, and in there we would send the word kill script. And if it was that, it would exit.
Yeah.
This was some sort of debugging, but as you can tell, this is not easy because you're accessing the memory. And as soon as I saw it, yeah, what happens if you're in, if the location is 32-bit versus 64-bit? That's great that it is using pointer size, but this number here might be wrong in one of the two. So it's going to be annoying. Getting that address of that string is not as simple. It looks simple. I think it was, but seems like it was not working. That's a debugging message there. So we can probably comment that out. We're not using the kill script like that anymore. We can then comment out this part. That's good. And we stay with the one that in the end was working, which is the termination message. That's good. Now let's do the clipboard stuff, which I think should be pretty simple.
It is.
Let's go to the clipboard here. But again, this is V1, so we need a copy of this. Let's save it as. Let's go to the V2.
And
yeah.
And just so everyone knows, I'm going from memory here, but this file that he's looking at, this is my clipboard library I wrote for just doing some basic stuff that I use in different scripts. So it's not just to this script. So it's just the thing of like, okay, often I select text and I want to either back it up.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
So what I'm going to do, as this is a very small script, we can just select every function that has a comma right next to it. Let me just alt click on them so that I do not have to do the backspace and stuff many times. I just alt click many times, which is easy to do. And now I do the control left to go to the beginning, then control right to go to the end of the word. And now just hit delete once. And I'm going to put a space there just to make sure that these guys don't. And that's it. I just fixed all the commands that had a comma in them, right? Except for this one, which I kind of missed. All right. But clipboard all. So if you're doing a backup here, you do have to now call clipboard all with parentheses. This is a very, very important thing. It's a tricky thing because if you do this, what's going to happen is that you're going to assign the whole class to the variable. And that's not what you want. You want an instance of the clipboard in that variable. So that's a very big distinction. And when you look at V1 code, it's very common to see clipboard all without it. So if you see clipboard all, just remember you need the parentheses there. We have a sleep right there, and we return the thing. So clipboard backup is just copying the clipboard to a variable. That's it. You can do this in your script, but having it spelled out like that is better because in your script you can read it, right? Now, clipboard backup and then copy the selected text. Well, at this point, I would have thought that you could do the clipboard backup function right here, which we already have it.
I was going to say, partially as a joke. Keep in mind, I wrote this probably 8 years ago. So I was, still learning using the function.
Right.
Spot on.
There we go. So we already did this part. We can just copy it. We can now empty the clipboard, which is, this is great. Look at this. So we look at the line, and that looks so weird. But Joe put the intention, what he was trying to do. He's trying to empty the clipboard. Now I know how to translate that intention because it looks like, is he missing something? No, he was trying to empty the clipboard, and in V1 that worked. But now I know what he was trying to do, so I know what I should do. A clipboard in this case, right? And then this is it. So this is me emptying the clipboard. We're going to be sending this. Then we're going to clip wait one.
And sorry, is send input? I know the send levels change in V2, right? Is that
Right.
still a thing?
So send input is the default, but you can still call the send input command, the send input function, still there. So we can keep it. Doesn't matter. Now, this if error level, this changes. Now, instead of referring to some random variable called error level, who everybody can change, we can just copy the same clip wait here and use it because this returns whether it timed out or not. And when you look at the thing, it tells you it returns, if it timed out, returns 0. So instead of just clip wait, I have to say, if not clip wait. So if it timed out, I waited 1 second, and in that second, the clipboard didn't change. If it didn't change, then I do everything else. But in this case, we don't use this error level thing anymore. At this point, we just restore the clipboard. Then we have a message box here that we could just put strings around it, right? And usually when I have an error, I usually say error here, and I usually put an icon X. That automatically puts the dialogue, it does the dialogue, but also it dings, it makes a sound. If you don't have the icon, right, it doesn't make any sounds. So you just get this little box and probably you missed that it was an error. So then we return right there. But if everything went right, we just return the clip backup, whatever it is. The reason why we're doing that is because we're just copying, and now my clipboard has what I want. So I just check my clipboard. I don't care about the clip back at this point, but it doesn't matter. Same here. Clipboard paste and then restore the clipboard. So here is going to be my clipboard backup data, right? And then a little bit of time here. We need the colon equals there. And this is a number, so it could be like this. We send the control V. We sleep, and we don't need percent signs here because we are always in an expression. And then for my clipboard, I will just set it to whatever you sent to me. I don't know what that was. I just send it. Same here. We have text. We have a colon equals there. Oops. We have the clipboard backup all, and you're seeing how this is going. After a while, you get so used to this that you just look at the text and say, yeah, that's it. Like, for example, percent signs. Yeah, no. While the clipboard, sorry, and let me look at this. So now we're working directly with, oh, wow, this is a very interesting one. Huh. So this was a way, Joe, that you were kind of like waiting for the clipboard to contain whatever you just put in it. But I think at this time we could just use we just do this. We empty the clipboard, set it to what we want. We don't need this part. And it would be wait.
You know, years later, now when you're setting a value into the clipboard, I personally wouldn't even worry about it. Like it's
right. It's very, very unlikely.
If you're getting it from selected text or something, that's one thing. But if you have the text and you're just shoving it there, like I don't know if I would do that anymore.
So this one is the clipboard backup though. So this is what I want to put there. And then return, and then the message box that we have here. Same thing, right? So then again, is the clip weight, you know, usually I set a higher number. I usually do 3 seconds. It never does the 3 seconds, but some situations, if what is it called? Like if Excel or somebody locks the clipboard, I might want to wait a little bit longer. Then we have our sleep time here. Sorry, our send. We were doing send input before. Let's just do send input now. And that's one thing, guys. You notice that it is the same thing. Send Control V or send input Control V. It makes it better for me if I am consistent, because later on, if I want to change all my send commands to send play, if they are all named the same, I can just change them all at once. But if I have send input here and then send down here, then I have to go, oh, I forgot to change this one and that one. So just be consistent. It doesn't matter what you do. If you like one approach over the other, just pick one, but then be consistent about it, because it makes your life easier in many, many situations. So just do that. Here, a clipboard, and I think we're almost on the last one. Yeah, we're on the last one here. So same thing. This guy is a clipboard. This is the clip weight. So this whole part, and again, I think all of this is the same that we had, like the clipboard backup, right? So all of this should be just clipboard backup. That's it. That is my code right there. I don't have to be doing none of this part right here.
Nope.
Let me see. So I copy the clipboard. Hold on. Why am I? Hold on. Let me confirm something here. Oh, sorry. I cannot do. So this is my backup. Right. Cannot remove part of it. So this is my backup. Oops. Right there, which I don't need to do this part then. I do need this part, which I'm gonna then add right here. And this is clipboard backup. There we go. So now I put the text. I have the timer left and right. And we do our stuff here. We add this, remove that. And then if left is set, then send input left, okay. And in here, we want to put how many times, right?
I use this a lot when I'm, because I really try never to just send keystrokes anymore. I try to paste, but I really like often being able to move back left or right, you know, to it, because I'll do an HTML or something. So this allows me to still leave my cursor where I want it to be.
Right. I think that's it. I don't see any other problems in here. Let's now verify that the one that had an issue here is no longer an issue. Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now I also have to point to the V2 location. And I don't need this guy anymore. So this should be good. And now if I follow the logic, and this is one thing that if you are modifying other stuff, just go through the idea real quick, just to verify that everything goes right. So we have the clipboard backup, copy selected text. So what I get here is the original clipboard. So this is my backup, and the clipboard should contain whatever I had selected. So if I go to that function, is that what it's doing? Let's go ahead and open it. And it does the clipboard backup, which I know that is working, cleans up, copies, waits, and then returns the original. Yeah, so that seems to be okay. And I think we're done. So now we just converted this whole script into V2. Joe, the one thing we could do is then you launch it on your end and see if it, how it broke. Because that's the other thing, guys. Even though I usually, and this is what Joe says, like, I go through it without testing it, but it is because I know more or less where I'm heading, but we should be testing as we go, right? But there we go.
I'll share I actually did have a error. Ironically, not ironically, but the error catcher, hid the error.
Oh, okay.
But let me share my screen, and then I'll try to relaunch it. And if you want, Isaias, you can just take control and walk through it. But
okay.
I'm surprised it I don't understand why.
Oh, the icon. So that means that the icon is probably not available.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sure it is. So
no, it makes a lot of sense. AutoHotkey V1 might not report that you had an error.
No, it uses the icon. I see it in my system tray right now because
okay.
V1's
running. All right, so let's see what it is. So we have. Oh, I know what it is. That in V2 the icon number does not go directly.
Sure, I was going to look at that. I'm like, that looks weird.
Yeah. There we go. So try that again.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me exit out of the other one because
yeah.
And let me. It's a lot of junk, but let me bring this over so you guys can see what. Come on. There we go. So, like I said, so now it's easy to spot, right? Because it has my word icon.
Yeah. Yes.
The other one, looks like it ran. The other one is I realized when I was launching the V1, I don't have my open folder.
Yeah.
You can borrow from another one, right? Which is super. I'm so glad we added that to all of our stuff. It's really handy.
Right? It is like, holy crap. Having this little thing, just open the script open the folder where the script is. We use it more often than we thought, right?
Oh, totally. All right, let me sorry, let me stop sharing because I have a license that's in my URL, so it's just easier than trying to blur it after the fact, especially when you drag something. So anyway, so here we go. So let me let's see here. How would I do this? I got to go back to Word, copy, paste. This is what it looks like. Come in here, hit the hotkey. Oh, seems like it.
No.
Oh, that's the. I'm looking. I'm like, wow. No, that's the time tracker.
That's the original.
No. So it looks like it swapped it out pretty darn well.
Really?
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see any.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
No, so the point is, I'm always expecting that at least on the first try, something goes wrong, right? So it is not uncommon. And actually, we did get something with the icon, at least, for example. So it is just like, I'm very surprised if it just works on the first try. And for people who expect that, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how it goes.
Where is the icon?
That's a good question.
Well, let me see if I hit the hotkey if it's still running. No, yep, still running. So for whatever reason, unless someone else wants to.
No, that's not the one.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So, and that's where I can drag it out, but then a bunch will come out with it.
Yeah, because they are different. They are on the same executable.
Yeah, very cool. So hopefully you guys
There you go. Now you have
any questions on, some of the stuff we covered or the approach.
or any comments.
Yeah.
Could you try just giving it to Claude and say convert it?
You might want to go that approach, and you will see that you're going to spend a lot of time on that. Because again, as you mentioned, like it just has to have one or two little errors, and then you go down this rabbit hole of, can you fix that? Okay, so you didn't do that. Can you do this? And this is my problem with it. You're trying to fix one error, and it goes ahead and modifies the code, but it doesn't just modify that, it modifies something else. And then it goes ahead and creates another problem just because of fixing this one. And Joe, you sent me a link saying maybe this is what you need. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but that is always my issue with it. I'm trying to fix down one bug, and in the end, it generates 2 or 3 more bugs by mistake because it modifies more than what I want it to. Right. And that is something that I don't know how to curb that yet. That's what happens, right?
Yeah, and
what's that new thing, Codex?
I think I mentioned Codex in one of the hero calls, and again, the problem with that one is you do need to have a Git repository that is public. It must be a Git repository. So
yes, I remember.
If you're a person who have code that cannot be shared publicly, or you don't want to share publicly for whatever reason, then Codex is not going to be an option for you. I think it's interesting. I tried it. I didn't get the results that I wanted, but they said that they made some updates, so I have to check again. Which everything AI, every time you try it today, try it again 3 months later and check again, because whatever you're looking at right now might be fixed later. So I have to double check again, right?
Yeah, and Connie, I have converted some of my stuff V1 to V2. I did try with this one, and like Isaias said, it was just getting stuck, and I thought it'd be a good teaching lesson on just converting things, but that simple file renamer, which was a crazy complicated GUI script, it did convert. Like it did it all.
It's so weird, right? It's so weird that some of them that are so complicated, it just does it. And some of them that are so simple, it just like goes into this weird thing, like, come on, what? I agree with you that.
We're at the end of the hour. Let me stop recording.